Hello everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a Boeing 737 pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. Today we are going to try something very new for the first time on this channel, and that is going to be a VFR flight. Now for that, just like you have suggested on yesterday's stream, we're going to use the MilViz Cessna 310R, and we'll also use the brand new Navigraph VFR Charts. Also new in the live stream is going to be the TDS GTNXi, which we have implemented in the Cessna 310. So, our route of flight today is going to be from Westerland Sylt down towards St. Peter-Ording. From there we'll fly onwards to Hamburg and then probably to Kiel and then finally Heidebusum. The amount of sectors we're going to do is going to depend a little bit on the time that we have available and how things go overall. Now, the one thing that probably most of you are waiting for here, I know there's only a single reason you guys are here. That is going to be a very first for this channel, and that is the giveaway. So, both MilViz / Blackbird and TDS have been so generous to offer me a copy of the Cessna 310 and a copy of the GTNXi to give away on today's live stream. So, how's that going to go? Well, throughout the course of the live stream, you guys know that I'm always explaining something, and that is the general idea of the live stream and the general idea of my channel. Learning, educating, and of course combining that with a little bit of entertainment. So for our giveaway then, we will, at some point during the live stream, I'm not going to tell you when. Oh yes, Josh, time to take notes, that's it. So at some point during the live stream, I'm going to ask you a question. It's probably not going to be a very complicated one, but it's not going to be entirely easy as well. So it's not going to be something like how many engines does the Cessna 310 have. That would be a bit easy. But that's the kind of question that you can expect, and whoever answered it correctly first is going to win the addon. There will be two separate questions, one for the Cessna and one for the GTN, so they will be given away separately from one another, so that we will have two winners on today's stream. Now that's said and done, let's first of all start with a little bit of our flight planning and let's see where we are going to go first. We have our Navigraph charts open up here, and we are going to set up a new flight now. Our origin is going to be Westerland Sylt, Echo Delta X-Ray Whiskey, and our destination airport for the first sector, Echo Delta X-Ray Oscar, which is St. Peter-Ording. That's a little 38-mile flight going over the Wattenmeer, so that is going to be quite an easy first route that we can use to have a good look into our first addons. Apart from that, we will be going VFR, and let's have a look into our charts first of all. So we are going to head out via the reporting points Sierra or via Hotel, depending on what air traffic control is going to clear us on. And Cloud D action, yes, absolutely, we are on Watsim for today's flight. Otherwise it would be boring, wouldn't it? So, we'll see, depending on the departure runway, we either go via the Sierra route or via the Whiskey to Hotel route. And from there on, we'll then set our course across the islands down here towards St. Peter-Ording, where we'll have to fly around the beach, which by the way is, as far as I'm aware, the biggest beach in Europe. In terms of the width, it's over 1 kilometer wide. And then we'll join our traffic pattern from the south for a landing in St. Peter-Ording. When we get there, we're going to start planning our second flight, so that is about it for the briefing on the first one. Now, Navigraph Charts version 8 is what we are using today, so that means we do have all the lovely new VFR stuff available, and well, from there on, let's get started. A lovely little Cessna 310 up here, probably one of the best aircraft, one of the best general aviation aircraft that we do have available. So, something you can see up here. You see that little wear and tear that we have? That is actually live based on the amount of hours that this airplane has. And we can choose what kind of plane we want. And in our case today, we have a chartered aircraft. Let's head up into the flight deck. And if we have a look at the hops meter down here, we can see this aircraft has already flown 5,203 hours. So this is quite a used aircraft, but it is well maintained. And MilViz gives us a really good load of configuration options that we have available up here. So we do have our iPad mounted in the screen on the left side here, and from here we can control all kind of different stuff. Now for the door, let's just go ahead and close it ourselves. Here we go. Oh, no, wrong button, wrong button. Keep closing. Alright. How do I lock this? Not like this, it seems. Okay, to the top. Now the door's locked. Let's see then, amount of passengers. Well, we have our front right passenger, and that is actually going to be it for the very first flight. So, P2 covers, wheel shocks, and control locks can be removed. This one up here is interesting as well, passenger comfort index. That really adjusts live based on cabin temperatures and how we fly and everything. So that's a really cool feature. MilViz has gone into a lot of very good details there. Going on to the services tab. Let's stay at 50% of fuel. That's going to be fine. And this one is nice up here as well. We can choose how much dirt we want to have on our airplane and how quickly that is going to change. So this is actually changing live as we fly along. Now, small detail here, just to show you. I have a little bit of dirt up here. So if we just about change that to clean, you can see how that's all of a sudden gone. That's really cool, isn't it? If we make the airplane really dirty, then just look at this. Somebody really needs to clean that plane here. But we can clean it as well. And here we go with a brand new and shiny aircraft. That's a really cool feature if you ask me. And it is definitely a first in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now then, going on to the options, we have a lot of different options available up here. So I have installed the TDS GTNXi now in the plane. And this one actually is a rental aircraft. So on here you can choose. You have default, which is basically a factory new aircraft. Then you can take on, where it is just going to note everything that you have done to the plane. And if you take a rental airplane, then it actually adjusts dynamically. Like, you do one flight, you leave the airplane, it is going to remember what you have done to it, but somebody else will probably fly it in between before you pick it up for the next flight. And when you do that, you see the hops meter is actually going to increase. So that's a really cool feature there. Also, for the failures, the airplane comes with a lot of possible failures. Now, I've said it that I want to rarely see some. There are some other options as well, but I'm rather happy with this. Finally, we have our status, where we can inspect the aircraft and then either do individual repairs, or where we could just go with whatever they give us. Now, let's quickly go ahead and do an inspection over here. We can see our spark plugs aren't in the best condition on the left engine, and we are going to see that when we actually start our engines up. So that's a really cool feature. We could of course overhaul it now, but to be honest, I like my airplane to be a little bit used, so I don't see any need to do something over here. Now let's see if I'm going to regret that in the course of the live stream. I'm fairly sure I will, because knowing my luck, something is gonna happen. Anyway, that's it with our tablet. Now let's get done and have a look at the airplane itself. I find it very interesting that we have our switch panel on the left hand side here, with the circuit breakers beneath them. And not all, but a lot of them can actually be used. So, for example, here we can pull the nav 1 circuit breaker, and so on. So that's rather interesting. Apart from that, standard instrument set installed today. And we of course have our GTN 750s as well. Down here is our engine starters, our magnetos, and the battery and alternators, as well as the auxiliary fuel pumps. I'll talk a little bit about those when we get into the flight. Apart from that, that's really it, what we have on today's flight. So why not just go ahead and start up our airplane? First thing we gotta do, since we are flying online, there will probably be an air traffic controller, because it is the online day at Hamburg. So we can expect quite some air traffic control to be online. I'm not 100% sure which controller I have to contact, but we'll find out. Okay, so we will need our avionics master for... So, 124175, let's try that guy. And see if he's responsible for Sylt. Radar, hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra. Are you the controller covering Westerland Sylt today? No answer is also an answer, I guess. Radar, hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra. No? Okay, he's not talking to us, it seems. Then let's try another one.
Good evening, Scandinavian 549, climbing 380 direct Ilda CPDs.
There's someone talking here, that's good. Radar, hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra. Are you covering Westerland Sylt?
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra affirm.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, perfect. Cessna 310 with 2 persons at the General Aviation apron. For departure towards St. Peter-Ording, request startup.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, runway 32. QNH 1019, startup approved.
Runway 32, QNH 1019, startup approved, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra.
Okay. 8 X-ray Juliet, contact Bremen radar 119, 525.
So then, avionics master off, anti-collision light on. We have fuel. So, anti-collision is on, we do have fuel, then let's put the magnetos on. Mixture on. Now the fuel pumps stay off in this aircraft for startup. The fuel pumps are actually something really interesting in this one, so I will go into a little bit of detail about those later on. Okay, so... right primer. Right starter. And here we go, good starter number 2. So we're looking for something around 1000 RPMs. Alternator on, and the same on the left side. And that is 2 good starts. Let's see on the ampere meter. It certainly helps if you switch the left one on, and now the fuel pumps can go to low. So both of them are working. Very good. Then straight away, let's lean the airplane a little bit. All the way down to 4. That's apparently a very good value for operation on the ground. And quick glance at the gauges. We do have oil pressure. The oil is already warming up, and we're looking for RPMs between 800 and 1000. Fuel gauges, main and auxiliary, both have fuel in them, and on the right side we can set 1019 as well. So long, avionics master, nav lights, and let's quickly set up our GTN. So, consumer license 2737NG driver. At this point, once again, thank you very much for TDS for providing the 750. To be totally clear with this one, I did get it as a gift from the developer, so I don't want to say anything the likes of what I'm going to say might be biased about the add-on, but just have in mind that I have gotten this one for free. It is very good though, so if I'm saying good things about it, that is because it is very good. So we're going from Sylt towards St. Peter-Ording.
TOS, system test okay.
Ouch, that was loud. Okay, so Sylt to St. Peter-Ording. Something I still need to find out is if it is possible to cross-feed the flight plans over here. But, well, we just gotta live with it as it is. Message here, TDS consumer license, that's checked, and the same on the other side as well. Now, what I really like about the TDS compared to the PMS is that the TDS is based on the original Garmin trainer. That means that almost everything works in here. Literally almost everything. Alright, so, if we have a quick look at our map then, let's just about zoom out a bit. So, here's one of the reasons why I wanted to show you this one today. Because what we see on here now is the actual data from the real Garmin unit. So this is one-to-one the same, the identically same that we would see in the real airplane. Let's go ahead and compare that to the Navigraph charts.
Copenhagen Control on 121.375. Thank you very much.
So this is what we have in real life. Now, if we have a look into Navigraph charts, we can see that it's pretty similar, isn't it? It's not identically the same, but I didn't expect that either, because the Navigraph data here is Jeppesen data, so basically Boeing data. And what we have available in here is, I believe, also from Jeppesen, but it's made for General Aviation, so it looks slightly different, but I have to say that you can see the overall similarity between the two, and that similarity is really, really worth mentioning, because it does see that we do have some very good data available now for Flight Simulator, regardless if you're using the Navigraph charts, or if you're using the PMS 50, or if you're using the actual trainer. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry. Okay, so we do, however, see the difference between the actual trainer here and the PMS 51. So that is quite a difference. The TDS is one-to-one the real one. Now, that of course means that it does have quite a couple of very good capabilities. We'll cover a couple of those today on the flight, but what is worth mentioning here is that you do have the ability for RNAV approaches all the way down to LPV minima, and what's probably the most important thing here, you even have the Smart Glide function from Garmin. And that is something that I'll go into a couple of details about when we're en route, but really good thing. No, we don't want to switch it on right now. Another thing that is really worth remembering when we are talking about the differences here is that in the TDS we do have, for example, all those menus in the utilities here. We have all the systems, well, except for the Connect setup, because obviously we can't connect it to a mobile phone or something from within Flight Simulator. But apart from that, we really have all the lovely stuff working here. And I'm just thinking about things like we do have trip planning, we do have fuel planning, and that's stuff that I've been really missing in the PMS-50. Now, another one we have over here is the rain prediction. We would need that if we would want to do an LPV approach. Rain, by the way, is Receiver Autonomous Integrity Monitoring. I will go a little bit into more details as we fly along later on. Apart from that, this is my personal setup that I like to use in the GTNs. Left side gives you the map, right side gives you the flight plan. Now the last thing that we can quickly do over here, we do have all our reporting points available on the screen up here as well. So, except for Sierra 1 it seems. That does really come in handy. Okay, anyway, for now, let's go back onto the airplane position. We zoom all the way in. And I would say that provides us a very good way to go. Squawk, let's go VFR. There are lots of options of stuff that you can change in here. Of course, on the right hand side we'll put the emergency frequency in, and we are gonna monitor both. Transponder can go on. Alright, so that's pretty much this part. So then let's go ahead and see what we're expecting. Runway 32 is set, so we are probably gonna taxi all the way down, cross 06, go by Alpha, or maybe via Bravo up here. And our departure is then probably going to be via the routing down here via Whiskey towards a hotel, maximum 2,000 feet. And we do have controlled airspace above, and class echo airspace from 1,000 feet. That's pretty much it.
Climb to flight level 290 and after Grony, proceed direct at 2 kilometers Bravo.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra VFR towards St. Peter-Ording via the hotel routing, request taxi.
Delta Charlie Sierra taxi to holding point runway 32 via Mike Alpha, cross runway 06, report ready.
Delta Charlie Sierra taxi order point runway 32 via Mike Alpha, cross runway 06, Wilco. Okay. So the routing is understood, left side out, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and start our taxi. Clear left.
Under 2, Papa Whiskey Bremen radar
Clear
identified,
right.
climb flight level 240.
Taxi light on, brake off.
Eurowings 22 November Whiskey, contact Bremen radar 124.175.
Brakes, checked.
Eurowings 22 November Whiskey, danke, bye bye.
And we can put 2,000 feet in the autopilot panel as a reminder that that's the maximum we're allowed to go. So we taxi via Mike, that is the right one. As we can see in here as well. We're cleared across the stop sign. And we are cleared across the runway. So clear on the left and clear on the right. Let's start with our emergency briefing. So it is a left-hand seat takeoff. We rotate at 83. The airplane should come off the runway at 93. And we'll climb out at least the blue line, which is the single-engine best rate of climb speed, VYSE. And We'll maintain at least that in case we do get an engine failure, because I'm still not like very familiar with this airplane. I just literally got it this afternoon. And the routing is taking us straight ahead across the city, and then we'll overfly the shoreline, then make our left turn out, climbing maximum 2,000 feet, and follow the mandatory reporting points. And that is pretty much it. Yeah, emergencies for an engine failure during the takeoff run, it's thrust idle, and then we are simply going to stop the airplane. For an engine failure after takeoff, if you can land straight ahead, we're going to do that. Otherwise, we are going to climb simply straight ahead. We're going out to the ocean, so it is going to be a rather slow climb, but nonetheless, there will not be any obstacles over there. And that's pretty much this part completed.
Scandinavian 872, descent flight level 280.
Flight level 280, thank you.
Alright, this just zoomed out. Looks like I probably have to disable the auto zoom function there. But let's do that when we're at the holding point.
Lufthansa 3 Sierra Tango, Bremen radar identified, climb flight level 240.
Interesting, that was only cut 2. Where's the cut 1?
Flight level 240.
No holding line.
Lufthansa 9er Charlie
Okay, well, if they don't put a line here, we'll just stop over here in front of the actual sign.
Contact Bremen radar 119.525,
Okay, so
Lufthansa 9er Charlie Hotel. Vielen Dank, tschüss.
Instruments. All in the greens. Then let's do a run up, 1700 RPMs.
Scandinavian 462 Bremen radar identified, report next waypoint.
Okay, then right magnetos off.
Roger.
Watch the RPM. Right magnetos on.
Scandinavian 462, proceed direct.
See the manifold, see the RPMs. The RPMs are just slightly fluctuating. The manifold you can see a bit more audible. Let's do the same on the left side. Left magnetos off. Notice the drop. Notice the drop. And then coming back on. So, feathering. Is back. Is complete, okay. Then we are basically ready for departure.
128.750.
Delta Charlie Sierra ready for departure.
Delta Charlie Sierra leaves CTR via hotel. Wind 230 degrees, 17 knots, runway 32, cleared for takeoff.
Delta Charlie Sierra leaving CTR via hotel and runway 32, cleared for takeoff. Okay, so that means we'll go straight ahead and then with a left turn out. Brakes off. Speed lead, strobe light, taxi light, landing light. Come on, make that turn, make that turn. Ah, I still need to get a little bit better used to the airplane. Okay, so are you guys ready? I guess that is a yes. So, set thrust. Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Below that is rather windy. Rotate. Look at those thrust controls here. That's a huge input from the wind. Yeah, we have positive rate. Gear up.
01, Bremen radar identified, climb flight level 240. Flight level 240 remaining station.
Set climb thrust. Okay, straight ahead to cross the shoreline, and then we'll make a left turn out. Now. Okay, we don't want to go higher than 2,000, so let's maintain 1,900. Thrust for as long as we are flying inside the CDR, so that we don't go too far, and that looks pretty good to me.
128, Pebble 50, Lufthansa 30 Tango. Okay, ciao.
Okay, so we're airborne, we're in cruise, fuel pumps can go off, landing light can go off. And now we'll first of all follow along the shoreline, and then we'll make our left-hand turn directly towards our destination. Now, if you want to see the same thing on the charts, then this is what it looks like. They do seem to want us a little bit further out from the shoreline. Let's do that.
Kilometer 7 Bravo, clear the Ripso to Papa Arrival. Clear Ripso to Papa Arrival, 8 meters Bravo.
Okay, there is whiskey marked on our GTN as well, so indeed looks like we have to fly quite a bit further away from the shoreline. We can do that. And there are some clouds coming as well. But come on, it's November, we aren't causing any tourists any noise pain or anything.
Good evening, taxi to Nassau with you, passing flight level 310.
1800, that's good. That's what we're going to
Taxi
do.
to 5 Bremen radar identified, descent flight level 110, cleared no-go to Papa Arrival.
Descending to flight level 110.
So, hotel is basically at the end of the island, so we'll just about follow that all the way until we reach hotel. So, a couple of explanations for those people.
Mike India, November.
Couple of explanations for those who are really new about VFR flying. My explanations are primarily based on Germany here, so there might be other procedures in other countries, just to have that out straight away. But in most European countries it kind of works the same. The big airports that we have all have mandatory reporting points and compulsory reporting points. And those are fixed geographical locations around the airport that are usually easy to spot visually. So for example, right now we're flying out to the ocean, and then being the end of the island, that is where our mandatory reporting point is. And you typically get to enter and exit the control zones via these different reporting points. So we'll see that in a moment when we overfly the hotel point then we are going to tell air traffic control that we are over at hotel, tell them our altitude, and that we request to leave the frequency. And I'm going to show you later on, when we get towards Hamburg, that it also works the very same way in the other way around. So if you don't have a flight plan, which is not mandatory when you fly VFR, unless you're flying across the border of a different country. But if you do not have a flight plan, then air traffic control does not really know anything about you. So in that case, you would tell them in your initial call, like, Hamburg Tower, Delta, India, Lima, Charlie, Sierra, Cessna 310, 2 persons, VFR from Westerland Sylt, via Echo to land. Something like that. And then they would give you an instruction like either hold overhead the reporting point or enter the control zone via the point. Often there are also specific routes assigned to the different points. So for example, right now we are leaving by the hotel route, which told us we had to fly straight ahead until we have overflown the shoreline, and then we could do our left turn out towards hotel, which we are basically overflying now. Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra over at hotel, 1,800 feet, request to leave.
Charlie Sierra, approved to leave.
Approved to leave, Delta Charlie Sierra, bye. Alright, so we'll put Unicom in as the active frequency. Now that we passed hotel, let's set course direct to our destination. Direct, activate, that's how easy it is. And off we go. All right. Yannick, for you the airplane is too loud compared to me. I turned it down a little bit, like a minute or two ago. Is it any better now? Okay, so while we fly along, let's have a look into the en route chart and see some of the information that Navigraph gives us over there. At least as soon as my software works along. Okay, here we go. So, of course we have a line that would be direct from Sylt to St. Peter-Ording. We have our position over here, and here's the important information that we get along our route. We have the highest terrain points over here, like 105 feet, 102 feet. Of course we have other airports and their respective traffic circuits that we have. For example here, Wieg auf Föhr, 800 feet Patron altitude, runways and so on. We have obstacles, such as this one. And probably one of the more important things here is the minimum off-route altitude. So over here it says 1,800 feet. Now that is rather high, if I'm honest with you, because VFR, they are usually lower. I have a feeling what Navigraph has done here is that they've taken the IFR minimum off-route altitudes and have just inserted them on the VFR charts, which, to be honest, is not 100% correct, because VFR, they are usually in the region here over the water, they're usually in the region like 700 feet, 800 feet or something of these lines. Now, the next interesting thing we see over here is that green one up here. And basically what it indicates is that we do have some nature protection in that area. Like, if we zoom out, you can see how it goes all along the shoreline over here. So this really is nature protected area. And that primarily means that we can and do have to expect birds over there. Now, flying at these altitudes, 2,000 feet as a cruise level here, birds are really much of an issue. If you have a bird that's going right into your front screen, you can expect him to exit via the aft windows. So those windows are not really very protective, to put it that way. Apart from that, we do have restricted areas and danger areas. For example, you can see that starting over here, we have a restricted area from flight level 75 until flight level 245. And that is quite a huge area, as we can see over here. And this is basically an area where German military is practicing. We have those military airports just over here with Schleswig and Hohn. So that's something that we definitely want to be aware of and that we don't want to go into. Apart from that, there is not really a lot that is worth mentioning out here on the ocean. But if you have a look onto the countryside over here, you can see there's a huge amount of wind turbines, which are those small red things over there. There is a huge amount of them out there. So there used to be a time where you could navigate by watching all those different wind farms. But if you do it nowadays, then, well, you are going to have trouble actually finding all of those. Because it'll just be impossible to identify them. Do be aware, however, that not all wind turbines are marked on the Navigraph charts. So, for example, I know that here are a couple as well, close to St. Peter-Ording, but they are apparently not in here. Now, that is actually one point that I wanted to talk about yesterday already, but didn't really get to cover. And that is the difference between the Navigraph charts and the charts provided from the German air traffic control provider, so from the Deutsche Flugsicherung. And the charts from the Deutsche Flugsicherung include a lot more details than the Japan charts, which Navigraph makes available to us. So what we're getting in here is rather basic, but it also is really helpful in terms that it does give us the basic information we need for our navigation. And Grandin, can we use Navigraph charts inside the GTN? Unfortunately not, but there are charts available for the GTN, but you just have to find a source, because at the moment at least they're only available from Jeppesen themselves, and you don't really want to spend 500 euros for updating every month in a flight simulator, do you? But let me show you what we do have available. So if we go on charts over here, for St. Peter-Ording we have none. Well, that's kind of expected, but let's have a look at Sylt. So over here we do have the original charts of the AIP in here, if you find the source for them. So personally, I know a couple people who fly with the real-life GTN, and rumors say that one of those gave me a data card that had some data on them, but that's just rumors. That is not confirmed. However, there are some sources available on the internet, which I cannot mention though. And of course, what we do have available as well, if we zoom out a little bit on here, there is basic coverage of aeronautical data on the Garmin map itself. So for example, we can see over here all those wind turbines that are drawn in. And actually, if you go on them, you can see down here, wind will obstacle up to 497 feet MSL. So that is a really cool way there to still get all that data. Basically, most of the data that you have available on the Navigraph en route chart is also available right within the GTN. That is really nice. So, for example, we see over here we have St. Peter-Ording. We see that there's a railway line going here, And we see the roads over here. We see an airway going across. Well, you don't have that on a VFR chart, but you don't really need it on there either, do you? So that is the kind of data that we do have available here. Okay, let's help ourselves a little bit with one more Garmin feature, and that is graphically edit the flight plan. I believe that feature is not available in the BMS 50, but correct me if I'm wrong. So, if we just about take our flight literally anywhere where we want it to be, then we can now draw in our route and just pull it over like this. Or at least in theory we can. Come on, Garmin, you can do it. Nope. This got to be the show effect. It worked. I promise. This really got to be the show effect, guys. Well. That is unfortunate. Of course, it always happens when you're on a live stream, right? Before the stream, you try that stuff and it works without any problems. After the stream, well, you see it. You see it. Yeah, Ehawk, things work until you want them to work. That's exactly it, my friend. Okay, so let's start our descent. We are very slowly approaching St. Peter-Ording. The airfield we're looking for is located... what did I do now? The airfield we're looking for is located round about here, I believe. And we're going to fly all around because the island, because we do not want to overfly the recreational areas down here. Just look on the beaches how much there is going on. If you see all those people, we don't want to disturb any of them. So we'll just fly around here, and then we'll descend down to Patron altitude, and then enter the pattern down from the south. So let's go ahead and do that. We can slowly start our descent while keeping a little bit of distance from the actual beach. And just watch how huge this beach actually is. So as far as I'm aware, in terms of the width of the beach, this is actually the largest in Europe. So, when you're entering a traffic pattern, you are supposed to take the airplane all the way down to pattern altitude quite a way before you enter it. The reason for that is, if you are descending in a typical low-wing airplane, you are hardly seeing anything. Like, if I'm looking out here, how big would the chances of seeing an aircraft that is somewhere in the circuit actually be? Not very big, I think we can agree on that. That's why I'm already taking it down to 1,000 feet, which is pattern altitude, into St. Peter-Ording. And let's do a very quick approach briefing as well before we start on with that. And 737 and G123. Could you land at Cessna 172 on that beach? Well, actually, not at Cessna 172, but I believe it was a Baron actually landed on there already. They had an engine failure and they went down on the beach. And after that, the aviation authority had to come and they prepared a strip on that beach where they could take off again after the airplane has been refueled. Apparently they just stuffed fuel just short of the airport. That's how they ended down there. Right, so we're at Patron altitude at 1,000 feet, looking down on the ocean. That's something that many flight simulators don't tend to do. But we can actually get a lot of information from the ocean. First of all, we can see all the swells down there. So we can see it is a lot of wind. A lot of wind. And the other thing, we can have a look at the windmills for our general wind direction. Not 100% sure if that is simulated, by the way, but just give you a bit of real-life insights there. So apart from that, Patron altitude 1,000 feet. It is going to be a rather long final, and we will be approaching runway 25. We have to vacate the runway all the way at the end, as we can see on here, and that's pretty much it. So this part over here is bringing us nicely into the downwind, and we'll join the Patron in the downwind today, and then we'll fly towards the... We'll just fly the standard traffic pattern. And there's our airfield. Now look at how we're drifting. The airplane's pointed to the field, we're going somewhere over there. That's quite a way off. So that sounds like a good time to me to stow the charts and make our approach. So here's our road, that's where we're supposed to do our downwind. So flaps 1, gear down. There's our runway. And we can start our descent. Flaps full. Let's turn base. Landing lights on. We'll probably have to do a rather steep turn here, because this airplane is just going pretty fast. Look how the wind is playing with us. How we're really drifting off. Look at that! Even though I flew 30-degree angle of bank turn, we drifted so far to the south. That's a really strong wind there.
500.
Checked. That's coming from the GTN. So, due to that wind, you see that small forest down there next to the runway? That is probably going to cause quite some turbulence, I would expect, so let's keep the speed at 100 knots. The runway itself is about 700 meters long. Not the longest, but for this airplane it should certainly be fine. Okay, front lever to maximum. A little bit. That was too much. That was a 737 flare. And down we are. Oops. I have done better landings in the past. But for the third landing, I believe, with a 310, I would say the plane is not broken. The plane is not broken. So, thank you for flying Ryanair. Last year, over 90% of our flights, well, were cancelled due to COVID, but you get where I'm going with this. So, runway vacated. Let's lean a bit, flaps up. Landing lights go in, strobe light off. And the pitot goes off as well. Okay. So, off we go to the parking, right in front of the hangar over here. We're just quickly going to pay the landing fees, and then we'll head off to Hamburg. And while we're flying to Hamburg, that is going to be the moment where we'll do our first giveaway. So, stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's quickly shut the airplane down. You go on standby. You go off. That's all set. And engines off. No GSX, we don't need you. Alright, and everything goes off. Come on. Okay, so let's see if the second landing is going to be better than the first. But anyway, here we are in St. Peter-Ording. So, let's go ahead and plan our second flight then. And Grandom, thank you very much for the €20 donation once again. Thank you very much. And Magoo, Ryanair, low fares, low approaches. Rashab Yildiz, is it stuttering or is it because of the live stream? Well, there has been a tiny bit of stuttering in my sim, but overall, it wasn't that bad. Maybe the live stream and the sim just combined, and that's how it went a little worse, if you know what I mean. Anyway, if we just look up at the windsock, we can certainly see why this has been a bit more of a positive landing. Really neat airport. I have been flying a lot here in real life, and it's too bad that we have such a strong wind, because the approach on this side here, this is spectacular because it has a very, very short final. But anyway, I'm talking too much. I know what you guys are waiting for. And Josh Foxtrot, will the giveaway questions be about the 310 or anything? I can give that much away. We'll have a question related in some sort to the 310 or multi-engine piston aircraft or something of that general topic for the actual 310 giveaway. And then we'll have something GPS related or something ANAF related for the giveaway of the 750, so of the TDS. So that's the two options that we'll have. I'm not going to give away what those questions are going to be in first place, of course. Now, let's have a look into the Navigraph charts and actually plan our second sector. At least provided I find it. Yep, there they are. Alright, so let's unload the flight and create a new one. This one we're going VFR from St. Peter-Ording to destination Hamburg. So 60 nautical miles, we're doing 150 knots, so it's going to be like 25 minutes flight time. And in terms of the route, let's see if there is anything in the way that would prevent us from going where we aim to go. So, in here, we can pretty much go straight. Let's see what this one is, but this is probably high altitude stuff. Is there any text on it? No. Here it is. But that is nothing that affects us. We can disregard that. Okay, then we go on. We can see a couple more restricted areas all around flight level 70 or so. Then we have our Hamburg class Charlie airspace starting at 5,500. And that's bringing us all the way down here. I would say Charlie is a good point over which we want to enter the terminal area. So let's put that one in. So, class Charlie airspace over here. Where is it? I need my notes. Come on. Show me how high that Charlie airspace is. Yep. So we have class Delta from 3,500, Hamburg Golf, Hamburg Alpha. That is all not very well narrated, if I'm honest. Trying to find something on the inside here, showing me how high that airspace is. There's nothing written down there. But well, we can cheat here. If we have maximum 2,500 feet for the VFR routes, that means the Charlie can't be lower than 2,500. So that's pretty much all that we need for this one. Okay, so that's our route done with. Now, how do we actually leave a traffic pattern? Go straight out, and then via the crosswind, you can leave the pattern. You could also do it via the downwind, middle of the downwind, but both are acceptable. And Josh Foxtrot, what is the scenery? This one is Aerosoft Airfields St. Peter-Ording, Echo Delta X-Ray Oscar. Really neat one. It doesn't cost too much either. I believe it's like 10 euros or so. So that's pretty good value for money if you ask me. And really enjoyable one as well. Okay, but now let's head into our airplane and make our way towards Hamburg. Close that door, please. Okay, we need the batteries and alternators. We need our magnetos. Anti-collision light on. So the condition levers go forward. We take a little bit of throttle. And then the left side is clear, right side is clear. Let's start the right engine. Primer on, starter, and the engine's running. Adjust the RPM so that we get about 1,000. So looking down here, reducing thrust a bit more. This looks roughly fine. Okay, right fuel pump too low. Let's do the same on the left side. Starter, primer left, starter on. Hold it till the engine fires, which it doesn't do. Might need a bit more throttle. Here we go. We had insufficient throttle. It wouldn't start up. Okay, fuel pump on, mixture idle, lean it down. Again, the number 4 is a pretty good number down here for our leaning. Okay, so avionics master, nav lights. Autopilot runs the pre-flight test. And we continue on our GTNs. Flight plan from St. Peter-Ording to Hamburg, and we'll...
TOS, system test okay.
Actually, you know what? Let's do that different, because I do want to show that off. I want to get that working now. So, home, map, zoom out a bit. By the way, at that point, I might as well disable automatic zoom, just while I'm thinking of it. Auto zoom off, thank you. That is good. Okay, so now this is our route. We have all the obstacles in red because we're currently below them. This is our airspace on the way in. And then we have our mandatory reporting point just down here, Hamburg Charlie. And we could now add this one to the route, and it's called Delta Hotel Charlie, okay. So, flight plan, after St. Peter-Ording, insert Delta Hotel Charlie. That's our quick find, we take this, and that's it, now it's in the flight plan. Squawk, we want the German VFR squawk, not the American one. And I'll quickly put in the same thing on the right hand side. That was one too many. Here we go. Towards Hamburg. Okay. We could store that one if we wanted to, but I don't really see a lot of use in that. At least not for the purpose that we are following here. Okay, so altimeter, can set that one to 0. And that's pretty much it. St. Peter-Ording traffic, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, taxi and backtrack, runway 25. Taxi light on, brake off, and off we go. already announced the backtrack, so let's go ahead and do that. St. Peter-Ording is a rather remote airfield, so we are going to do the run-up while we are on the runway actually. And that's going to make things a little bit easier for us. And it certainly helps if you don't taxi too fast. But that wind really pushed us. Did you notice that? It was really hard to slow the airplane down at the end of the runway. Okay, here we are. So, brake set, mixture full ridge, 1700 RPMs. Like this. Okay, so right magnetos off, notice the drop. Right magnetos on, notice the increase. Left magnetos off, drop. And left magnetos on, increase. Okay, prop levers working as well. Transponder on, strobes, landing lights, fuel pumps on low, and we're good to go. Okay, pattern altitude 1000 feet, left turns. Here we go, takeoff. A little bit of brakes. Gear up. And we're past 400 feet. Set to climb thrust. So, left turn out. The aim is not to overfly the populated areas down here. And we can climb right out the pattern altitude. That is permissible, and that's what we're going to do. The clouds won't permit a high cruising level anyway today, so we'll go up to 2000 once again. Note how the wind is pushing us, like we're literally flying somewhere over here. So let's put that autopilot in, shall we? Autopilot. Alt hold. Heading hold. For the cruise, we'll go down. So we do want to go fast. Let's go 24, 24. That should be a rather fast cruise power setting. Ground speed 174 knots, that's what we want to see. Alright, so let's lean it a bit as well. Note the note those instruments over here. So those were I am pulling back our condition levers now, or our mixture now, And note how the temperatures are increasing. And I'm pulling them back until they start decreasing again. So that's the case on the left one now, so just aiming a tiny bit back in. Now still reducing on the right side. Still increasing. Now they're dropping, okay, so push a little bit more back in. And that's around about it. That's the very, very, very easy form of how we lean the aircraft. Now, pumps should have been off before that, but it doesn't really matter. This way around either. And the P2H should have. Well, that's what I get for not reading the checklists. Okay, so we're flying along. We know that we're at a safe altitude. We're doing a very good speed here as well. So let's use the time and talk a tiny bit about our GTN 750. And Hawk Mike, is it normal to do the run-up on the runway? I always thought you do it before you enter the active runway to take up less time. Yes, in theory you would do it before the runway. It's just in St. Peter-Ording, it is a local thing that they actually do it on the runways. Okay, so quick look into our GTN 750, and I'll just about use the time to see direct here. And let's quickly adjust that course as well, which is interesting, by the way. The real plane does actually not adjust the HSI. Did you know that? Okay, so here we go. Just update the direct once more. Direct, activate, and nav. Let's see how well it follows it. But we can see a track line over here, so it's just doing minor adjustment. And here we go. Now we're heading towards Charlie. Let's descend 2,000 feet as well. Okay, so one thing that I find really, really cool about the GTNs is that they are capable of RNAV approaches all the way down to LPV minima. And even the 737 is not able of flying down to LPV minima. So we can do that in here. The GTNs are capable of feeding the autopilot, and then you are basically going to get the same indication as if you were flying an ILS on your HSI, and that way you can then fly your RNAV approach. Now, in order to do that, of course we need certain minima, and of course we need to meet certain minima. So what that basically means is we have to have a certain number of satellites available, and we have to have a certain set of data available. Now, the DMS-50 GTN was rather limited in these terms, and the TDS is capable of doing quite a bit more there. And that is something that we'll just quickly have a look into now, which is basically when you go on a procedure. So let's say we wanted to do an approach in Hamburg, and then we could take, here we have them, our RNAV approaches all the way down to LPV minima. I'll just about load that in now without actually inserting it. So we can see the channel ID and everything down here. That is stuff where it connects to the satellite system. Now, I don't want to explain it in a too complicated manner because it would really become very theoretical there. To put it the very, very basic way, the GPS is capable of flying down to a minima that is almost as accurate as an ILS. Let's have a look into the chart. So we have 3 different charts available for that. By the way, this is original AIP charts now. This is not the Navigraph charts. So we can get all the theoretical information and everything down here. get a little bit more. So let's go back, chart, and let's see this. So this is what an approach chart like this would look like in the AIP. Don't worry that it looks a little shitty. That's how the Germans designed it. And you know Germans, they need to get everything in and everything. Anyway, let's get back to our giveaways. So, everyone, are you ready to answer a question? I don't see a single comment saying yes. Well, then we gotta cancel it. No, I'm just joking. So, then let's have a look into one of the requirements in order to do an RNAV approach and an LPV approach. So, if we go to home, this is actually a capability of the only of the NXi. So this is not a capability of the PMS-50, but only of this one. We go in utilities, and in here we have RAIM prediction. Now, tell me, what does the abbreviation RAIM, Romeo Alpha India Mike, actually stand for? Scholli 04, Receiver Autonomous Integrity Monitoring. Bingo! Scholli 04, you win a TDS GTNXi. Send me an email via the tab that you see on my channel. Send me an email there, and I am going to give you the details on how you can get your free copy. Alright, and Bashab, that is, no, Yannick actually, that's what you said before. Yeah, that is true, I did say it before. Actually I did hide the answer to the second giveaway as well already in the stream, but I do want to be sure that we do know, or everyone does learn something, and I'm just putting you to the test here to make sure that you actually do learn it. So, how is the RAIM actually working then? By the way, we'll do the second giveaway later on towards the end of the stream. So the TDS GTNXi is given away. We still have a Cessna 310R to give away, so we still have the overall plane to give away. But we'll talk about that in a moment. So, let's quickly have a look into the RAIM itself. So, you need a waypoint, and you need an arrival time. And what the RAIM check is doing, so we compute this, and it says RAIM available. Receiver Autonomous Integrity Monitoring basically means that the system knows the position of satellites around the Earth, and if it has sufficient satellites available, then it can calculate its position very, very precisely. And in order to fly RNAV approaches, we have to have sufficient satellites, and by doing this RAIM check, you can determine if at the time of your approach you will have sufficient satellites within line of sight. Because remember, satellite communication always works via line of sight. So if we don't see a satellite, then we cannot use it. And there are not always sufficient satellites available in order to provide enough accuracy. Now, since this is a 737 channel after all, the 737 does not have this RAIM prediction built in, at least not in the version that we fly in my airline. That's why in my airline we actually get it done from the Lido integrated dispatch system, and we would then get a company NOTAM telling us if there was no RAIM available at any time within the time frame where we plan our approach. So that is how we do it in the 737. All the modern days units, like the GTN, have the capability to do that themselves, and the TDS actually monitor and simulate that, which is really cool, I believe. And Yannick, I'll just put that what you said into the clipboard and send it for the next giveaway. Yeah. Okay, then we're slowly heading into the direction of Hamburg, so let's go ahead and see how long we'll actually take. Something that I'll do here is I'll just go ahead and set up my map. No. Change user fields, that's what I wanted to do. We'll change the desired track into... where is it? Estimated time of arrival. Nope. Where is estimated time en route? Here it is. Perfect, that's what I wanted. I'm pressing the wrong buttons, sorry for that, guys. Okay, so we have 3.5 minutes to go until we reach our reporting point Charlie. So let's go ahead and call Hamburg Tower 126850 and tell them about our intentions to land.
Ja, da war nochmal korrekt.
In the meantime, I'll slow the airplane down a little bit, because we are supposed to call 5 minutes before the mandatory report.
Hamburg Tower, close day number 2 for landing, wind check 230 degrees, 12 knots.
Hamburg Tower, hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, Hamburg Tower today.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, Cessna 3102 persons, VFR from St. Peter-Ording, 5 minutes to the north of Charlie for landing.
Delta Charlie Sierra, QNH Hamburg 1023, active runway 2333, enter controls via Charlie.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, QNH 1023, runways 23 and 33, entering control zone via Charlie approved.
Condor 1 to Mike Lima, cross runway 33 via Bravo 6 on the other side.
Okay, so we're clear to enter the control zone via Charlie. Let's have a look into the Navigraph charts then to see what that routing is actually going to look like.
Lufthansa 16 Papa Hamburg Tower, moin and up runway 33 and wait.
Okay, so that's going to be Charlie. They say runway 23 and 33 are available, so I would expect that we are going to enter like this, down towards Whiskey 2, and I would expect they either let us go into a downwind somewhere over here or somewhere over here. So let's see what exactly ATC is going to plan for us. So now that we've talked about the GTN and that, let's quickly go and talk about the
Delta Echo Papa
Navigraph capabilities. So let's put Navigraph into the follow mode, and let's actually use Navigraph as a moving map on this arrival. So we can see Charlie is not all that far away. And George, when will I do the next giveaway? On the next flight. So we'll land in Hamburg, we'll depart Hamburg again, and on the way outbound from Hamburg we will do the next giveaway. Maybe after the landing. So after the landing of the second sector. It's going to be at some point during the next flight. I have a feeling if I tell you an exact time now, then the number of viewers of this live stream is going to drop to probably 10. Those 10 would all deserve the aircraft then. And exactly a minute before that time, people would come back. Alright, anyway. I'm joking. So we see that from Charlie we'll do a slight right turn and we'll follow the streets then. So it looks to me like this could be Charlie already up there. Well, this actually is Charlie up there. So then we'll follow that street up there, and our airfield is somewhere over there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there it is. That's definitely an airport.
Delta Mike Alpha Atelier für den Gegenabflug bitte zu Flug.
Okay, autopilot is off.
Jetzt im rechten Gegenabflug. Ja. Delta Mike Alpha, fliegen Sie den Gegenabflug.
You already said that we can join the controls on via charts, so we'll continue along our routes, but reduce thrust a little bit more.
Verstanden. Überfliege Piste, dann Gegenanflug und dann Endanflug hinter dem genannten Verkehr. Der Kamerad.
Korrekt.
Delta Lima Charlie Sierra over Charlie 2000 feet.
West Alpaca 1 Echo Delta, continue taxiing on Delta 1, who's on runway 33? Taxi Delta 1, hold short.
So we're looking at the road directly beneath us. Probably the one that turns over here. So we'll make a left-hand turn momentarily, then follow this road.
Lufthansa to Echo Hamburg Tower, good evening, number 2 for departure.
This wind is really making it hard.
From current position, join traffic circuit runway 23, downwind runway 23, entry port, leave at traffic on 800 feet, currently downwind runway 23 inside.
That's going to be him. Delta Charlie Sierra, present position, join the downwind runway 23 and confirm a left or right downwind.
That's normal downwind, so that's the left one.
Delta Charlie Sierra, roger, join the left and downwind runway 23 and we have the traffic inside.
399 Kilo Bravo, wind 23 degrees for 2.
Okay, then we have runway 23, that is going to be that one. In other words, we'll have to fly downwind like this, so we'll have to cross over the field at some point.
Taxi left on Delta 1, then contact Hamburg 812 and decimal 7, good night.
Left Delta 1, 121.7, it's the for good night.
Lufthansa 2 Echo behind departing, Airbus A320 at runway 33 and wait behind.
Line up and wait behind the departing traffic, Lufthansa 2 Echo.
Delta Charlie Sierra, confirm you want us to do a midfield crossing or can we cross over at the threshold 05?
Oh, Delta Charlie Sierra, there's no inbound company, so both is fine, you can just cross directly over the runway. Make a Delta Mike Alpha, wind 230 Grad 1 for close.
Okay, if he says we can cross directly above it, then let's go ahead and do directly that. So, don't need the charts anymore then, we are fully visual now. But where is the other aircraft gone now? Don't see him anymore. If any of you sees that other aircraft, then do let me know.
Delta Sierra Charlie, 230 degrees, 1, 2 knots. Delta Charlie Sierra disregard.
Charlie Sierra, we are on the down from H2.
Lufthansa 2 Echo, wind 230 degrees, 1, 2 knots, runway 33, get for takeoff, goodbye.
Okay, it didn't say anything, that means we can fly the rest of the traffic pattern at our own convenience.
Easy 39 Kilo Bravo, yep, as said in the 8S1 passing through 2000 feet, contact Hamburg, Bremen radar on number 9.525, you have a good one.
119.
Okay, and flaps 15.
Easy 39 Kilo Bravo, negative, it's 119er, decimal 525.
Pumps
119,
on.
decimal 525, 39 Kilogram.
Alpaca 1 Echo
Lights
Delta,
on,
cross runway
Pixar
3
Ridge.
via Bravo 6, on the other side, contact Hamburg Apron 1 to decimal 7, goodbye.
Cross runway 23, on the other side.
I'm flying the pattern rather wide here, because I'm not 100% sure if he wanted us to extend the downwind. He didn't say so.
Sierra, correction Delta, Charlie Sierra, wind 230 degrees, 1, 2 knots, runway 23, clear to land, vacate via Delta 7.
From E2T, clear to land, vacate Delta, Charlie Sierra. Okay, Delta Sierra, Delta 7 is behind intersection with the other runway. So, flaps full. We'll take 100 knots as approach speed once again. So,
500.
500 continue, gear down, flaps down, lights on, pumps on.
Hamburg Tower, schönen Abend, Eurowing 7461, ILS 23.
Eurowing 7461 Hamburg Tower, moin. Number 2 for landing, there's VFR traffic on short final runway 23. Your number 2 will check 230 degrees, 2 knots.
Oh god, how long can you make such a call?
Brandnew 7461.
Ew, that was a little gust there. A little thermal as well. And here we are on the other side of the thermal.
29 Kilo Bravo. On the frequency 129.525, this is number 2.
No, easy 39 Kilo Bravo, one more time. The frequency is 119 decimal.
I'm not sure if that was a good landing or not.
5. Then you will get someone. 119 decimal 525.
Okay, so he wants us on the second exit.
129, thank you.
Let's give it a bit of power. And then the next to the left, Delta 7. Oops. And that's ours. Probably make a left turn here, but he'll tell us. For now, we'll just stop over here.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra Taxi to General Aviation Parking via Delta 1.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, General Aviation Parking via Delta 1.
Eurowing 7461, wind 230 degrees, 12 knots, runway 23.
Okay, and the scenery is the Simwing scenery, not just Sim. Okay, so via Delta 1, that is a left turn here, and then General Aviation is anything over here. So that's where we'll park. So, maximum wingspan 29, that looks good to me. Okay. So, park and brake set, and then we put the nav lights off, we put the pitot off, avionics off. Fuel pumps off, and mixture off. And here we are, sector number 2 complete. Random, you are my hero of the day. Another 20 euro donation. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. And Yannick, I'm with you. Simwings is pretty good, but it has some weird terrain features or issues. For example, when lining up on runway 23. Yeah, those issues unfortunately do exist. So, well, I believe there is a way around them, however. So, well, I guess we can't find out on this one because there will be traffic waiting there. But, well, we'll have to see. Okay then, let's plan one more flight. This time we're going into the wind, so that means we'll be a little bit slower. But that will be the perfect opportunity for our giveaway. So, another look at the charts, and what are we going to do this time? So, unload the flight, and we'll take a new flight. VFR from Hamburg, and this time we are going to... Why is this not working? Hamburg at the route. Oh. Let's try that once more. So, origin, Hamburg. Now it works. Destination, this time we're going towards Kiel. Kiel-Holtenau. Very, very scenic approach. Really worth it. And then let's see what we have available here. Ways to leave the control zone? Well, November is directly on our route. So, how else could we not take November, huh? So, November 2. November 1. Then, what is this? Parachute jumping area, Hartenholm. So we've got to ask air traffic control if that is active. Then we'll head directly towards Kiel. Alright. Kiel does have IFR procedures, but I don't see us using those today. So that is pretty much our routing complete. Okay, so, you, my friend, can go. You can go. And you can go directly back to this. The only thing we do have to do now, however, is quickly refueling our plane, because... Have a look at this. We definitely need to fill it up. The only good thing is... Power off again. We can quickly do it over the tablet over here. By the way, let's also quickly have a look. Let's do an inspection. Everything is still where it was before we flew. In other words, I did not break the plane. Okay, so. Services. We want some fueling, and we'll just go back to 50% over here. But let's make it a bit more interesting. We're actually going to load us up all the way with baggage. So now our current weight is 5,405 pounds, which is pretty much the maximum takeoff weight. So that's going to make things a little bit more interesting once more. Okay. So that's pretty much our preparation completed. So I would say, let's get our airplane up and running, and then we'll make our way towards Kiel. I wish it was that easy, by the way, to turn an airplane around in real time, or in real life. But don't let my boss hear it, okay? Otherwise I know what's gonna happen. Otherwise I definitely know what's gonna happen. And Grandam, yeah, not yet you mean. Absolutely, you're right. Okay, so. Battery on. Magnetos on. The only thing that's special here in Hamburg, once again, is that we do need a startup clearance, so I'm not 100% sure whom we'll have to call here. If it's gonna be the tower, because he brought us all the way to the parking stand. They don't have a delivery online, so... yeah, let's stick to the tower.
Hamburg Tower, schönen guten Abend, Aerowings 32 Foxtrot, ready at Bravo 5.
Wings 32 Foxtrot, Hamburg Tower,
TOS, system test okay.
Line up and wait, runway 33, Aerowings 32
So, we
Foxtrot.
said we want to use the November routing, so November 2, November 1. And then directly to Kiel. And why am I even entering this? I have to turn them off anyway again. Oh boy. Well, it's getting late. It's getting late.
Target area speed 32 for Charlie, Alice 23.
Seabird 2 for Charlie, Hamburg Tower, moin, number 3 for landing, wind check 230 degrees, 12 knots.
Number 3, 2 for Charlie.
Hamburg Tower low, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra.
Seabird 2 for Charlie, reduce to minimum approach speed.
Minimum approach speed 32 for Charlie.
He's ignoring us.
Eurowings 32 Foxtrot, winds 230 degrees, 2 knots, runway 33, cleared for takeoff, goodbye.
Runway 33, cleared for takeoff, Eurowings 32 Foxtrot, tschüss.
Hamburg to hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra.
Delta India Lima... Wer war das? Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra Hamburg Tower, moin. Für Clearance Hamburg Rollkontrolle auf der 121,700.
121.7 Delta Charlie Sierra. I love it how they always talk German with you and Watson when you are flying something with a Delta registration. Okay, so 121.7. Hamburg ground, hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, Hamburg ground, good evening.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra at Cessna 310 with 6 persons VFR to Kiel, Holte now via the November routing, request startup.
Delta Charlie Sierra, Roger, information, Mike is current, QNH 1023, startup approved.
Information Mike, QNH 1023, startup approved, Delta Charlie Sierra. Okay, 1023.
Hamburg ground, schönen Abend, Delta Alpha Golf Papa Yankee, information Mike, requesting clearance to Marseille.
Avionic master is going off again, strobes
Delta
on, and here we go. Master on, magnetos on. So, watch closely for the procedures. Someone of you is gonna be gifted this aeroplane. This magnificent aeroplane, I have to say. I'm really enjoying it. Okay, so we'll start the right engine first. Clear on the right. Fuel is loaded now. Primer to the right. Starter on. Thousand RPMs. Fuel pump on low, and let's start the left engine. Left side is clear. Primer left, starter hold, and it's running. Right, fuel pumps on low, and we're gonna lean it out once again. That didn't sound too good. That sounds about alright. Okay, so avionics on, and then let's see.
TOS, system test okay.
Then we want to take November 1, and then finally direct to Kiel, Holte now.
Via Zulu 3 and Zulu 1.
Zulu 3 and Zulu 1 to gate Zulu 3 Bravo.
And I'll quickly put the same in over here. Alright, squawk, VFR, enter, and you can put this one on already. Okay. So that's pretty much our setup completed. And Magoo, guess the controller is more confused why you are not speaking German when flying VFR. Yeah, I guess so. Alright. So that is pretty much our setup complete. Did I just use the strobe light instead of the anti-collision for engine start? Boy. It's getting late. That's the correct setup. Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, request taxi.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, taxi via GAT, hold short Delta 1, squawk VFR.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, taxi GAT, hold Delta 1, squawk VFR. Why did this go back into... I set that to 7,000, didn't I? I have to go back in the live stream a few moments ago. Okay, so clear left, clear right. But I'm fairly sure I had set it to 7,000. Anyway, so we make a right turn out and hold short of Delta 1.
Ground, good evening, Lufthansa 125, Bravo 6.
Lufthansa 125, Hamburg Airplane, good evening. Taxi to gate 03 Alpha via Zulu 3 and Zulu 1.
I'm still getting used to how the 310 taxis exactly, but it does feel pretty good.
Delta Charlie Sierra, contact Hamburg Tower 126.850, good Flug.
126.850, Delta Charlie Sierra, ciao.
Lufthansa 2998, Hamburg Tower.
Hamburg Tower, nochmal, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, holding short Delta 1, ready, able Delta 8. So Delta 8 is over here, then he doesn't need to taxi us all the way over. Actually, Delta 9 makes a lot more sense.
Sierra, Hamburg Tower,
because then we can go from runway 33.
Lufthansa 2998, Hamburg Tower.
And he doesn't give us anything. Why is that? Clear left. Clear right.
Lufthansa 2998,
He could get us out any moment.
Kit for immediate takeoff,
What
no
are we
delay,
waiting
winds
for?
230 degrees, 12 knots, runway 33, cleared for. Lufthansa 2998, disregard, line up runway 33 and wait.
Line up runway 23 and wait.
Seabird 24 Charlie, cross runway 33 via Bravo 6 on the other side, Hamburg Airplane 121.7, goodbye.
Cross runway 33 to Bravo 6 on the other side, 1217 for speed for 2 for Charlie, bye bye.
Lufthansa 232, winds 230 degrees, 12 knots,
Is he gonna call us
runway
now
23, clear to
or
land.
not?
Runway 23, clear to land, Lufthansa 232. Austrian 104, taxi left onto Delta 1, hold short of runway 33.
Left Delta 1, hold runway
Probably
33,
wants to get that
Austrian
Austrian here in front of us.
Delta India Lima,
That might make
Charlie
sense.
Sierra, pass your message again.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, holding short Delta 1 and we're able for any intersection.
Delta Charlie Sierra, Roger, confirm you want to leave CTR via November.
Delta Charlie Sierra, affirm. So the
Delta
controllers
Charlie
didn't
Sierra,
talk with
Roger,
one
good
another.
Austrian Airbus A320 passing from left to right thereafter, taxi to holding point runway 33 via Delta 1 and taxi holding point runway 33 intersection Delta 9 via Delta 1.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, number 2 behind the Austrian taxi via Delta 1, Delta 9, hold short runway 33. Okay, so right, left, and we are behind the Austrian. We want to keep a little bit of a distance though behind the Airbus. So now we can go slowly. Left is clear, right is clear. We've got interrupted a little bit earlier.
Lufthansa
So,
998, you have a departure on the neighboring airport.
I really like the way that the 310 taxis, so it's agile, it's very agile,
I call you.
but you can mess it up if you're going too quick. Did he call us now?
Austrian 014,
No.
cross runway
Okay.
33 via Bravo 6 on the other side, Hamburg Airplane 121.7.
So,
Have a good
Navigraph.
night.
You can put me into follow
Runway
mode.
33, other side Bravo 6, contact ground 1217, Austrian 014, goodbye.
Overall,
Delta India Lima Sierra Charlie, can you tell me your ICAO code from your aircraft type?
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, it's Charlie 310.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, Roger, thank you.
He's setting up a flight plan for us right now in
left
his
on Delta 1,
system.
hold short off runway
Because flying VFR, you don't have to file a flight plan, at least not in Germany. On VATSIM in some countries you have to.
Delta
But,
Charlie Sierra number 2 for departure. There's delay. Expect departure in about 4 minutes.
Delta Charlie Sierra. That's alright, we still need to do a run-up anyway. Okay, so Delta 9er, we are on the correct intersection. Can see it on the sign on the left there.
Lufthansa 4 Tango Juliet, Hamburg Tower, moin. Wind check 230 degrees, 12 knots, continue.
Okay, so
Copy,
my first impression of the King Air, by the way. First of all, the systems make a really solid impression. So the systems really seem to be very, very well simulated and thought out. And that is exactly what I've read and heard, by the way, a lot from other people. So system-wise, this might probably be the deepest simulated general aviation aircraft that we do have available in the simulator. Now, let's go ahead and do a run-up. So 1,700 RPMs.
And on the other side, contact Hamburg Apron on frequency 121-7. And contact on the other side of 1. Thank you for your service. Bye-bye. Goodbye.
By the way, something I just can't help but notice. If we are putting both needles on the 1,700 RPMs here, we have a slight throttle split. You see the left throttle needs to be pushed a little bit more forward than the right throttle. And imagine, and remember the maintenance information that we saw earlier on, that the left engine actually has a little bit of wear, or a little bit more wear than the right engine? That's one of those things that I've been talking about in regards to the system simulation. So they are doing a really good job with that. Now, magnetos. We see them falling. We see them rising. Same on the other hand side. Falling. And rising. And the feathering works as well. And I'll just reduce the mixture again slightly because we might be standing here for a little while. And I don't want to foul my spark plugs. So if you keep that mixture up high, then you are going to slowly damage your engines with that when you're idling them on the ground. So that is something to keep in mind. Whoever is going to win that giveaway copy, keep that in mind, that you might easily break your engines, or rather your magnetos, if you do keep the engines if you do keep the mixture up high. Boy, it's not my day. I somewhat keep confusing things, and I know I should. So, Lufthansa gets takeoff clearance on runway 33. There's one approaching here, so I guess after this one has landed, we'll then get our lineup. Another feature that I just have to mention right now is the dynamic wear and tear on the airplane. So, nope, I did not want this, sorry. If we have a look over here, like, see that dirt that's everywhere here in the cabin? Now, that dynamically changes even as we fly the airplane. If we fly the airplane onto a dirt strip, then it gets dirtier on the outside, and probably also on the inside, than if we fly the airplane onto an asphalt runway.
Lufthansa 4 Tango Juliet, wind 230 degrees, 12 knots, runway 23.
That is definitely a first for us in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it is a really nice one as well. Now, on top of that, the cruising speed. Did you see how we went 180 knots on the way down here? Now, that was really cool. And this thing can go fast, it can go high, it can go far, at least comparably. So, overall, in my opinion, the 310R is a really, really nice aircraft. And the flight dynamics are really good as well. So, you did see me over-controlling the airplane a few times in this live stream. And the reason for that is that I'm using it together with my Thrustmaster Boeing yoke, which of course in the simulator does not have force feedback or any sign of, or actually any sign of feedback. So that means that in real life you would have rather strong aerodynamic forces on the control column. So it might actually be an idea for me to put in a little bit of a sensitivity curve flying this one, but on the other hand side I just have to get a little bit used to the way that this actually handles. But the overall way that the airplane feels, the way that the airplane is tossed around by the wind, that is something that I would absolutely expect from an aircraft of this size. In fact, when I first did my first flight on a multi-engine piston aircraft, I was surprised how easily the airplane is thrown around in the wind. You did feel a bit of a weight compared to the single-engine pistons that I flew before. I'm talking about the BA-44 now, by the way.
Delta India Lima, Charlie Sierra, leaf controls via November, right turn approved, caution wake turbulence, wind 230 degrees 12 knots, runway 33 Kiel for takeoff, goodbye.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, leave control zone via November, right turn approved, runway 33, clear for takeoff.
And Delta Charlie Sierra, I take my goodbye back, report November 2 and obviously November 1 as well.
Delta Charlie Sierra will go.
Lufthansa 4 Tango Juliet, taxi left from Delta 1, who's on off runway 33.
Right, takeoff.
Swiss 6 Alpha Mike, Hamburg Tower, your ticket.
Rotate. Very gently. We're at a high weight.
Hamburg
Almost
Tower,
on takeoff weight.
Progressive Banky, holding short, 3-3 on go.
Now we have to hold on freight. Gear up.
Delta Alpha Golf Papa Yankee, Hamburg Tower, moin, line up runway 33 and wait.
Line up runway 33 and wait, Delta Banky.
So keeping the speed right on the blue line there.
Swiss 6 Alpha Mike, please forgive has been a bit busy, no problem at all. Wind 230 degrees 12 knots, runway 23 clear to land.
Okay, departure at the runway, we start a right-hand turn, and we will fly next to that road that I'm just about searching. That'll be that one up here already. Yep, it is. So next to this road, all the way to where it makes the right knick, then we have November 2. Hardly see anything up front. Right, we're gonna stay in 2,000 feet. So this is where the Navigraph charts are really handy now.
Lufthansa 4
They'll tell me exactly where
Hamburg
the
moin.
reporting
Number
points
2
are.
for landing, wind check 230 degrees 12 knots.
Number 2 of landing.
So over at November 2, 2,000 feet, let's make a left turn towards November 1.
Delta Alpha Golf Papa Yankee, already now for you traffic information, VFR traffic north, east of the field.
Delta Banky.
Lufthansa 4 Lima Papa, VFR traffic north, west of your position, no factor.
That wind is incredible, like, look how we are drifting again. Like, we are literally flying somewhere over there. I mean, it does improve visibility to a certain extent, but, you know.
Lufthansa Delta Alpha Golf Papa Yankee, wind 230 degrees.
So we'll take the highest cruise power setting we have now, 24.
Alright, please speak at for takeoff.
0.5 at 2400 RPMs.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra. Yep, I saw you were passing November 2. Continue now to November 1.
Delta Charlie Sierra, and we're continuing towards November 1. Sorry, you were a bit busy, didn't want to interrupt.
That's perfectly fine, I understand. Don't you worry, sir.
Oh, believe me, I won't worry. Okay, so
Lufthansa 4 Tango Juliet, cross runway 33 on the other side, corner Hamburg April 1,
lights can go
7
off,
flight.
and be retracted, most importantly. 2,500 feet is maximum, so we'll go to 2,300 as the highest in order to keep us a distance from the Charlie airspace.
Hamburg Tower, hello. Nothing,
Some small showers over there, but that's not a problem flying through. I mean, we can see through it, then we can fly through it. 170 knots, that's what I meant, that this plane is doing a really good speed.
Power Delta 420.
6 Alpha Mike, taxi left on Delta 1, hold short.
Okay, there's a slight tendency to bank left, let's correct that. By the way, it is really nice to see that they have actually simulated those banking tendencies of the plane.
Delta 420 Hamburg Tower, moin, number 2 for landing, wind check 230 degrees, 10 knots.
Number 2 for landing, Delta 420.
All stations information, November current, QNH in Hamburg now 1024, QNH 1024.
Set altimeter 1024. Delta Charlie Sierra, November 1, 2,200 feet, request to leave, and frequency for flight information service.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra Roger, leaving approved, have a good night.
Leaving frequency approved, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, and do you know any frequency for traffic information?
Absolutely. Try 119, that's the 525.
119, 525, Delta Charlie Sierra, bye. Okay, 19525. Let's get ourselves some traffic information. In real life they have separate frequencies for that, but on VATSIM they're usually combined. Same radar, hello, Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra,
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, Cessna 310, 6 persons from Hamburg to Kiel, just left Hamburg via November 1, request traffic information and status of the parachute area Hafenholm. Yeah, lovely, thank you. Because we are more or less entering the area. Well, now we're flying through it. Because that gentleman couldn't maintain radio silence. Or radio discipline.
Delta India Lima Charlie Sierra, set for 7740 and third jumping area is not active.
Squawk 7740, area not active. Delta Charlie Sierra. Okay, 7740.
Graham Radar, German Air Force,
Let's go again.
moin, information November, level 164.
So, some slight range showers here, not a problem, but we'll just quickly make sure Peter-Ording is on.
319 up Leben, hello, identified information November, expect island 3.
And here we go, 27 miles to run. Let's have a look at what that is in terms of ETA. 8 minutes to go.
Delta Charlie Sierra, your identified indicates 2,000 feet, Hamburg QNH 1024, no reported traffic.
Delta Charlie Sierra, altitude 2,300 is confirmed, QNH 1024, roger.
Remember radar TLM 273, hello, passing Ripso, flight level 110.
Okay, so we'll make our way towards Kiel, and
information November.
I know that all of you are waiting for the giveaway, are you? And smells like Team Spirit's up. Could you turn down the plane audio a bit? Yeah, sure. Is that better now? Alright, I know that all of you are waiting for the giveaway, so I'm not going to let you wait for too much longer. However, since this is a rather short sector, we are going to do the giveaway just after our landing in Kiel. So, what you can think about already. It will be a question regarding multi-engine propeller aircraft. So that's a topic that you can already revise in your mind and just think about all the specialties that we might encounter, think about what's different on a multi-engine propeller aircraft to a single-engine piston aircraft. Think about those differences, just gently revise what might be important. And something else that you can think of already is some sort of feedback. So I saw that a lot of answers came in after my first question, but if we are totally honest, that one was rather easy just to Google. So be totally honest with me, guys. And that honest answer is not going to exclude you from the second giveaway, but how many of you actually knew it and how many of you actually Googled it? And random, did you leave your cowl flaps open? Yeah. Actually, for the potential winner of the aircraft, the cowl flaps are designed to be left open in this aircraft. Unless you have an engine failure or do a simulated engine failure, then you might actually want to close it. Apart from that, we are normally keeping the cowl flaps open on this one. So, Magoo, don't think you can Google it that quickly. And 737NG123, I knew from earlier in the stream. Alright, that's very good already. So you did learn something. That's very good. Sim 737 pilot, engine out procedures and drag caused by the in-op side. Okay, Serkan Onur, single propeller torque. Yeah, that's all good things to think about. You guys are on a very good way. And guys, the actual question has not yet been asked yet, so 737NG123, single propeller dragging you to the left, is true under certain circumstances. However, I haven't asked a particular question yet. I'm just telling you what's tough to revise in your mind already for the upcoming question.
Departure good day, start links, 9,000, flight 3,000, 5,000 feet, reserve for God.
Start links. 9005, Bremen radar, good evening, identified, climate level 100.
So, that's the Kiel over there. Delta Charlie Sierra, approaching Kiel, request to leave.
Delta Charlie Sierra, leaving approved, Squawk VFR, gute Landung.
Squawk VFR, leaving approved, Delta Charlie Sierra, Charlie. So, Squawk VFR.
And
let's go to Unicorn. 1, 2, 2, 8. Alright, there is no traffic pattern defined in Kiel, so we don't need the Navigraph charts anymore. We just remember the location of the airport just over here, but we can definitely remember that one from our heart, so we don't need this anymore. Now let's try not to overfly the actual city. By the way, the airport we are about to approach, Kiel-Holtenau, is a very, very good freeware scenery, which not only covers the airport itself, but also a lot of the area around it. Kiel City and some of the shipyards. And you can get it for free on flightsim.to, so one of you is going to win the 310. The others, well, go and grab Kiel. It is a very good scenery. That's gotta be at least something for free. You can find it on flightsim.to. We'll go over the forest over here, and then we'll join directly into the final approach for runway 25. Kiel traffic, Delta Lima Charlie Sierra overhead Kiel City for a direct final runway 25. And no guys, don't take an example out of the phraseology that I just used. That was about as wrong as it gets. It's difficult when there is no ATC online. In Germany, even at small airports, you always have air traffic control. Well, not air traffic control in the sense of someone actually controlling something, but you at least have them in the sense of someone answering and giving you some basic information. Alright. So just look at this. This is really great, isn't it? Especially for freeware scenery. Right then, time to slow us down. So there's our field. Kiel traffic, Delta Lima Charlie Sierra, extended base, runway 25. Try to avoid those houses as good as possible. So speed is coming back nicely, flaps 1. And turning final. So speed below 138, gear down, and flaps full. That was the gear warning for a very short period of time there, but that is acceptable. Kiel traffic, Delta Lima Charlie Sierra, final runway 25. Right, so gear down, flaps down.
500.
500, continue. Fuel pumps on, landing lights on. And in the meantime, of course, lost the puppies. That stuff is really easier in real life. A little turbulent here, but I really like how you feel the turbulence in the 310. It's a bit quick on the way down, and a bit quick on the way up. Well, just put it down. I still have to learn how to master these landings. Okay, anyway, we are down. So, the question for the giveaway. Everyone, get yourself ready. And let me know when you're ready. We don't want anybody to miss out just because you weren't ready. Get your keyboards out. Set your phones to the commentary mode, or whatever you're using to watch this, so that all of you actually have the same chance. Okay. That looks like the majority of you is actually ready. Just waiting for Grandon. Are you still here? Because you certainly deserve a chance. Just trying to see if you want to enter as well. In the meantime, I'm taxiing my aircraft here without actually having retracted those flaps or having done anything after landing. So I might as well just do that. So that is better. Alright, random, you already have it. Okay, perfect. Then, I think that's pretty much all of you guys ready. So, if we have a look into some theoretical aeroplane performance, then we know that we have designated speeds like V1, VR, V2, and so on. So, we have all those designated speeds, and they all have their names. Now what we are looking for is, on our airspeed indicator, we have a blue line. What does the blue line stand for? And what exactly is the designator of that speed? So V whatever. Okay, be a bit more specific, guys. You're going in the right direction, but we haven't seen the exact correct answer yet. We're still waiting for the correct definition. And keep in mind, we also need the exact designator V whatever. We've seen parts of the correct answers, but we still need we need both the name and the designator. Michael, you came closest. So, Michael said we have the ideal climb rate, Y, and then we have the designator VYSE. And then we also have Smells Like Teen Spirit 7 saying VYSE best rate of climb single engine. That is kind of both of you correct there. Now, Michael has been first in terms of naming the two things. So Michael, you are gonna get the Cessna 310. And yes, of course, the correct answer is the best single engine rate of climb VYSE. And yeah, split custody, that is hard. I only have a single copy that I can give away, but the first entirely correctly given answer is from Smells Like Teen Spirit 7. So Michael, you get the Cessna 310, and Smells Like Teen Spirit 7, you sent me an email as well. We are gonna figure something out for you. Because you were the first, as far as I can see, who's given the completely correct answer as per the manual. So, both of you guys, I need a screenshot from your YouTube to prove your identity, and then send me an email through the email address that you can see on my channel. Okay, Smells Like Teen Spirit 7, let Michael have it, no problem. Well, that's really kind of you, but you've also been right. So, guys, if you have me on a Discord, send me a message there, otherwise send me an email, and you are going to get that copy. So, thank you everyone for joining. I really hope that you have enjoyed today's live stream. I do also hope that you have enjoyed today's giveaway. It was a first. I hope you liked it. And overall, thank you very much everyone for watching. Now, as always, if you do want to support the channel, you can do that through the Buy Me a Coffee link that you can find in the video description below, or through donating through the Super Chat over here. That is, by the way, what's paying the landing fees as well, as we can all see up here on the screen. So, thank you everyone for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to see you all again in the very sooner future. So, Sholly04 has won the TDS GTNXi, and Mike has won the Cessna 310. Now, I hope to see you guys flying it in the sooner future. Until then, thank you very much for watching everyone, and I'm looking forward to see you again, hopefully in the very soon future. And Grandom, thank you so much for that 2142 donation. You are my hero. Grandom, you need to send me a message